We got a day off from the World Cup, so let's talk about the Premier League transfer window so far. We're gonna center this around the big six. I'm sorry to all 8 of the Fulham fans out there. First, let's start with the big moves that Liverpool have made so far. Alright, moving on. Man City kicked off the transfer window signing Elliot Anderson for $116 million. At first, it was reported $130, which would have broke the transfer record. Now, many people are calling this overpay, and I do agree, but when you're Man City and you got money like that and you could just splash it however you want, you do it. Obviously, Rodri's one knee is like Kawhi Leonard's now, so you put the legs of Anderson next to the creativity of Rodri and a pivot, that is scary. I see a lot of people writing Man City off because Pep is gone, Bernardo Silva is gone, but I don't view it that way. They're going to be right there in the title race under Maresca. Ornstein dropped a bomb that Bruno G told Newcastle he wants to go to Arsenal after they were linked. And this is looking like it's going to happen between 60 to 70 million. Bruno G to Arsenal excites me so much. He walks into our midfield as the best passer in that midfield by far. His teammate, who he's literally better than, Tonali, went for 100. To get him for 65 would be a steal, and it's because he's 28 and the market is obsessed with 24-year-olds. But Arsenal are in win-now position. This is a perfect addition. Rice and Bruno in a pivot is going to give teams hell, and then you still have Miles Lewis-Skelly and Zubimendi as options. Spurs are moving mad. I don't like it. They signed Sandro Tonali for 100. They signed Mateus Fernandes for 85. They got Van Hecke for 52. They got Robertson on a free. And they got Marco Sensi. Again, people are just talking about how much they overpaid, which they did. But they went from Paulinho and Bentancur as their options to Tonali and Mateus Fernandes. Holy upgrade. Now they'll have Mateus Fernandes receiving the ball at the 6th position off of center backs. And then you got Tonali up and down the pitch box to box as a workhorse. Apparently Spurs aren't done too. They might go for Krupi Jr. Yeah, if they do that, they gotta get taken serious. Man United missed out on Anderson, missed out on Mateus Fernandes, missed out on Tonali, but they did get Andre Santos from Chelsea for $50 million. When you look at the state of the Man United midfield, they needed to secure a big midfield signing. Ugarte is ass, and he tore his ACL. Kobe Mainoo is great. Casemiro is gone. Bruno Fernandes is your 10. Mason Mount is ass. And don't get me wrong, Andre Santos is a good player. I like him. But Man United needed to be going for the players who are keeping him on the bench. Going for those big profiles like a Caicedo, like a Enzo Fernandez. Not their bench warmer. And looking at the players Chelsea brought in, I'd be lying if I told you I knew anything about either of these two players. So Chelsea fans, you tell me about them. I do know they were trying to get Granit Xhaka, which would have been a perfect signing. He's obviously played with Xabi Alonso, and he would provide a lot of leadership that team lacks. But they put in an $8 million bid, and Sunderland found it so disrespectful, they were like, yeah, never mind. He's not for sale anymore. We're not even discussing this with you anymore. It's over.